Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Yonkers Voice. Good morning, our members. We have the best membership that is available out there. But today we have a great guest, Councilwoman, Honorable Councilwoman Shanae Williams. Shanae, thank you for taking the time. Thank you for always making yourself available to speak with us.
I try.
Okay, I can say the same about everyone, but what matters is that you are.
Thank you for having me.
Shanae, it's a pleasure. It's always a pleasure to hear from you, to hear what your plans are, and to hear the whys.
Yeah.
We just heard that you are running
Yes.
for council. No, I'm sorry, not council. County legislator. You're challenging somebody that's been there for the last few years.
Yes.
If you are challenging, it's fair to assume that you are not happy.
That's a fair assumption.
A fair assumption, because if you felt it was good, you wouldn't be running, right?
Yes. So
Tell us why.
I'm running for county legislator of the 16th district because I really truly believe that we need a legislator that is intentional about addressing the myriad of issues that we have here in the district. Issues that really, it's all about quality of life and just helping people socially, and from addressing homelessness, addressing the mental health crisis that we see here, making sure that people feel safe in their neighborhoods, safe in their communities, and the list goes on. I just don't see enough effort there, and I think there's so much that we could be doing, and I want to be that person to make that happen. I have to say, Drew, I have seen from my experience here in office that we cannot get anything done on our own. The city, the county, the state, whatever level of government we're in, we need partnerships. We have to work collectively in order for change to happen. And when we don't have a legislator that is actively working with all levels of government, especially the city, things are going to fall through the cracks. People at the end of the day are going to bear the brunt of that and not get the services that they need, and we have to change that.
That's a hell of an accusation, because you just implied that the current county legislator is not working in conjunction with the rest of the team. But before we go much further, Shanae, let me do an apology, not necessary, because I explain that every single time we start an interview. Some of you see me with the phone on my hands, sometimes texting. I'm not texting no one. I'm listening to what the councilwoman is saying, but at the same time, I'm multitasking. I'm seeing what you are saying, your questions, so I can ask the councilwoman. She's right next to me, and she can actually see what I'm doing. So,
yes.
Because once in a while I go, why are you so disrespectful? You're talking, but you're chatting, you're talking to somebody else. No, I'm monitoring the conversation, because these questions are not for me, are for you. She's here not to speak with me, because I could speak with her in private. She's here to speak with you, to let you know the whys. Before we go further, I have to give a shout out to Dos Marias Restaurant, 200 New Main Street. This is the place where you can have the best Mexican food in Yonkers, Westchester County, because Westchester County, and probably the States. It's a very good chance. Okay? And this is a place where you can have and mix and mingle, make new friends, have a couple drinks, within reason. Okay, enjoy a good afternoon, wind down after a busy day. This is the place to be. Tuesdays is the special Tuesday, Taco Tuesday. Come on down. If you haven't been here, you need to come. This is the best secret in town. No longer, because I talk about it all the time, but some of you have not been here. Let's go on. Let's talk about specifics, Shanae. Yes, we need county legislators, council people that understand that things can only be accomplished if you are part of a team and if you work in a team mentality state.
Right.
Okay. Let's talk about specifics.
Okay.
Give me a specific. What do you mean by it? Give me a specific that you feel that the current one did not work within.
You're taking my implications and putting words in my mouth, but what I have to say here, Rue, is that I don't think there's any elected official who can sit here and truly say that they don't need any other level of government to get stuff done for their district. There has to be intergovernmental partnerships from the city with the state and with the county and federally in order for us to serve, because at the end of the day, we're serving the same body of people. We want to see Yonkers thrive. We want to see Westchester thrive. We want to make sure that the people here are getting the services and the resources that they need. But there has to be collaboration. And when I say that I haven't seen enough of that in the 16th district, it is because I haven't. As a council person, I have made it my business to really focus in on the homeless crisis here. I've worked with the homeless population. I've worked with community people who want to help the homeless population and resolve the issues. I've worked with nonprofits. You know, the city has done so much to help. And I'll give you an example. 2 years ago, in 2021, we launched a pilot program called Project Connect with West Hab. I'm sure you remember that. And that project was basically to help get people who are living street homeless, right? Living on the street, get caseworkers out onto the street so they get a mobile team to talk to them, to help them, to let them know they can drop in at the shelter at 100 North Broadway and get access to showers, to food, to whatever it is that they need. They don't have to be on the street, you know, and that program went really well. The city, we put $2.5 million to fund that program. And while it's not a city, you know, we say all the time, that this is a county issue. Homelessness, you know, temporary housing, it does fall under the county's jurisdiction, but that doesn't mean that we can't work with the county to address this issue. And that's what we did with this program. The county's Office of Temporary Housing Assistance, they have a lot of nonprofits that they work with and fund, and you know, to make sure that they're providing services to people. But if people don't know about it, if they're not putting enough money into this department so that we can get access and help the people who need it on the ground, then what are we doing, right? So while the city, we did this program with West Hab, it was a 2-year pilot program. This year it ends. We have had conversations with the county legislator, specifically asking that they work with us to fund it moving forward, because we have seen that it has been working. Slowly but surely it has been working. They have helped over 100 plus people get off the street. They have helped put people in permanent housing, not a lot, a handful, but still every little bit makes a difference, right? And if we are seeing this Project Connect initiative work so well, why not continue to fund it? And we can't manage to fund it on our own in the city, and that's why we need county legislators who are willing to put the funds in the budget to pick this up. DSS has a department specifically for programs like this. Let's work with DSS. Why aren't we funneling that money through DSS to work with nonprofits like West Hab so that this program can continue?
Well, I have to tell you something. I really don't need to tell you, but most people know. I am as liberal comes.
Okay.
But I strongly agree with what you said. Regardless of what we are, we need to understand that we need to work with the other members of the team, regardless if they're Republicans, if they're these or that.
You got to reach across the aisle. You have to work with everyone.
You have to reach across the aisle if you want to fulfill your promises and help those that we represent.
Right. You got to look at the bigger picture. Absolutely.
Exactly. I agree 100%. And you just mentioned the homeless. Okay?
Yes.
Look, Yonkers, well, not Yonkers, the entire county and the entire country are having a problem with the homeless population.
Yes.
But we are going to focus in our county, in our city.
Right.
It's important to find solutions.
Mm-hmm.
You are still a councilwoman, so I think people need to vote based on records. Okay. If you did a good job as a councilwoman and you represented and you work towards fixing those issues at whatever level you are, why not give you a chance to work now at a higher level so you probably can accomplish or help accomplish more things?
Right.
So let's talk about the homeless.
Okay.
What is the root cause of so much homeless in Yonkers? Are other cities, other municipalities dumping bringing homeless to our city?
We've seen some of that, but Rue, I think that's a very complex question because there's not one simple answer, right? With people become homeless not just because not only because they can't afford rent, because they might not have a good paying job that can keep them, a part of society where they can afford to pay the rents, but also because there's mental health issues. There's people struggling with substance abuse issues, and oftentimes those are the people that you see on the street. For families who fall, down on their luck and they're unable to provide for themselves and live in their homes, there's a number of things that could have led to that. We know that the state has been very good at trying to keep people in their apartments, keep people in their homes. There's a number of state programs. There's rent regulations and things like that, but sometimes it's just not enough. And we've seen that. That's what we've seen nationwide. I think for us here in Westchester, in Yonkers specifically, with the combination of mental health rising and with the fact that we need more affordable housing, we need so much more affordable housing. I would say those two things combined are maybe the two most important causes of what we're seeing here with the homeless population in Yonkers.
Well, I didn't mean to imply that of the question to be in the way you took it, because I have emphasized and said many times that not every homeless out there doesn't work.
A lot of them are working people.
A lot of them are working people. A lot of them are hard-working people, but they're homeless because the rents are becoming so high that they are not able to afford. Okay, if you are in a family that only one side works, okay, it's difficult. Sometimes it's difficult even if both work. Okay, so there is a combination. But there is also a lot of homeless people that are homeless because they want to be homeless, because they don't want help. Even if you give them, they don't care. They don't want to. So we're not going to address those. I think we're addressing those that are homeless because it's something out of their control. They cannot afford. Things are getting too expensive. They're seeking help, but they're not getting help. I think that's what we're talking about.
Okay.
So, but housing. We see all these investments coming, new buildings being brought up, but we've seen a lot of people from Yonkers live in Yonkers because they can no longer afford to be in a city that where generations.
Yes, we see people leaving Yonkers, but we also see people coming to Yonkers. And I would go as far to say the south side of Yonkers, southwest Yonkers, has seen the largest growth of population, especially in the Hispanic community. So with that, you know that I'm very passionate about affordable housing. You know that I've led the charge on affordable housing, trying to get more out of developers, leading with the 20% affordable housing ordinance that unfortunately was vetoed. But we're at a point where we're still working on that. We are hopefully going to have something proposed. Well, the mayor did propose something, but hopefully we'll be able to tweak it and make it stronger and better, that will have passed this year by the council and signed off by the mayor, which will make a difference in the future. But what I like to focus on is what we're also doing outside of market rate housing, outside of getting developers to set aside a certain percentage of affordable units in their buildings. I want to see more affordable units, 100% affordable. And we've been doing that. We've been working with so many different nonprofits and organizations that's not only in the process of going through the process of building 100% affordable housing, like Conifer on Ravine Avenue and Point in my district, off the river, and like also West Hab on Locust Hill Avenue, they're doing 100% affordable housing there now too. And there's people, we just had a city council meeting the other day where we changed a zone over by Glenwood and Lake Avenue to accommodate developers who want to build 100% affordable housing, I think 177 units over by Father Finian. So I think the more of those that we can get throughout the city, not just on the west side or in the first district, but throughout the city of Yonkers, that's solely focused on housing that people can afford based on their income, then the better.
Yeah, affordability, it's a very relative term. But now, I know that you take this with a passion, about affordable housing, your district. I have spoken to many people in your district. I don't know if this is true or not true. That's why I'm going to ask you, and you can correct me.
Okay.
Lionsgate are buying lots of properties in your district. Top class limousine has been bought. Brown Max has been bought. There is buildings that have been bought. All those buildings, there is people living there.
People live in there? The Lionsgate has purchased mostly things along the water on Warburton that were vacant properties.
Totally vacant?
They haven't purchased any apartment buildings, to my knowledge.
Top class limousine corner with Warburton Avenue from that point all the way down to Vark by the church.
All the way down to Vark?
Yeah. Sorry, not Vark. I apologize. To Hudson? All the way down.
Ashburton?
No.
Ashburton?
From corner of Ashburton and Warburton, all the way down past the church. What's the name of that?
Messiah Baptist Church?
Yeah, by there. All that property was.
They don't own all of that.
They don't yet.
The
Right?
National Guard still owns a property that's right adjacent to the church. They did purchase a bunch of lots, and I don't think they own the houses that are there either.
Not yet.
Well, those are private property. If people decide to sell, that's
But
that's not something in the city's control. But here's the thing about Lionsgate. I'm not sure I fully understand the negative response from people about Lionsgate purchasing for more stage, for more and parking to build out and make Yonkers more of a film industry, right? A film community. I'm not sure I understand it, and I'm not here to defend Lionsgate, so I can't. I don't even want to have that conversation.
And I'm not here to attack Lionsgate.
But I don't think that they have purchased any housing.
Let me make it
and
clear.
have moved people out of their housing.
I'm not here to attack Lionsgate either. I welcome Lionsgate into our city. It's a great thing. But my concern is people that lives here as well.
Right.
Yes, bring them all, but don't dislodge the people that live here.
Right. I agree with that.
Top class limousine, it's on Ashburton. At the corner of Ashburton and Warburton, there is a deli store. Next to deli store, there is residencies.
On top. Yeah.
Exactly, on top, 2 or 3 floors. There is 2 or 3.
I don't know the deals of the sale.
Well, let me
did
finish.
Top Class own the
Allow
housing?
me to finish. No.
Okay.
Let me finish. So Lionsgate bought the top class, but probably they did
parking.
For parking, and the other houses are not. People in those houses are afraid. Now, not the not the landlords, because Lionsgate might make them an offer they can refuse and might sell it.
Okay.
But the people who live there will have a problem.
Absolutely.
We agree, right?
Absolutely.
So Lionsgate or other identities might come and say, okay, we're going to give you a subsidized, for causing the dislodge, you have to move. So they're going to go on the lease and say, well, you have a lease of $750 a month. This is an example. An example. You have a lease for how long? A year? Okay, we're going to give you the 700 multiplied by 12. But if those guys have to move out and look for another place elsewhere, they're not going to find a place for $750 a month. And whatever they get.
So let's not go off too far.
No.
Let's bring it back.
You are look, I'm trying to. This is what I'm trying to establish. You are a councilwoman, and that's your district.
Yes.
If I'm going to vote for you for a county legislator, I have to say, okay, she represented me very well at your level now as the councilwoman. I think she deserves to be there. So people need to know, because those are the people that I want to vote for you.
So what you're asking me about, what is your direct question? If Lionsgate has purchased those housing, or if they're planning to? Because
What I'm asking is, you as a council person took in consideration the formula that will be paid to those guys so they can move out of there? Did you took in consideration the concern?
So this is the first concern that you're bringing to me, that they think that they're being purchased out of their homes, because that hasn't happened, and so I can't speak about something that's not a reality. what I can do is have a conversation with with Lionsgate, with the owners, and see if they have intentions of buying those houses. I don't think that is the case, right? To my knowledge, they're only trying to do more stages with the lots that they currently have along Warburton, which they did not displace anyone from their homes. So I get that the concern is because they see that they're purchasing all these lots, they might eventually try to take my property too. I get that concern. It's a real concern, but that hasn't happened, and I am not privy to any plans for that to happen.
I'm just asking.
So what I can do for you, Rue, and
not for me,
for the
us.
community that's watching, is I can follow up with Lionsgate and get a direct answer on that and share it with you so you can
those
put
are
it out
concerns.
there.
And you taking care of the concerns of the people, actually, it's a platform that might say, look, she works for us.
Right.
She works for us at the city
follow-up.
level.
Yeah.
She's going to work as hard as the county level.
Right.
Crime.
Yes.
Crime and drugs in our areas. It's also a problem.
It's a huge problem. I completely agree. I think, the city, we brag about being a safe city for our size, but we certainly have some issues when it comes to crime and safety. And for me, I think it's important as a city council person to work with law enforcement. And that's equally important for county legislators to work with law enforcement to make sure that people feel safe. I don't want to take over your show, you can ask the questions, but we have been working with different organizations, with our police, to really focus in on the youth, because we know that a lot of times it's the younger folks that's doing a lot of the crime. But one of the things that I'm not sure that we fully have a handle on is the high crime when it comes to catalytic converters being stolen. That's like the biggest thing in our city right now, especially on the south side. So it's not necessarily gun violence, that's quite low still. We see it, guns go off, people are dying every day in the street, but it's still a concern. And that's why we have organizations like the PAL that we work with to make sure that we're funding them and to make sure that we're bringing in new partners and programs for kids. And with the new SIG Film School coming in, that's really going to be focusing on the young people and getting guns out of their hands and putting them in a film program to keep them focused, to give them something to look forward to and do. I think that's the kind of positive initiatives and leads that we need to do as a city, but we also need to see that transition countywide.
Opioid, fentanyl.
Yeah, the drugs is a problem. The drugs is a problem. Westchester County has an entire health department and mental health included, but also they have programs for people who are dealing with substance abuse issues. And we need to make sure that we are putting more funding and really working with the organizations that are doing the work to help these people so that they can continue and expand. And when we do that, when we put the money there in the county to increase these budgets, that means that we're going to need more people on the ground, more caseworkers, more jobs for people in the community to do the work, and so everybody benefits, right? That's something that's important, and I'm not sure what our current legislator has been doing in that effort, but we need to address it.
Would that be something that you...
That is absolutely something that I will focus on if elected as county legislator, absolutely.
No, I don't have access to the matrix to do a comparison. When it comes to opioid, like this year versus last year versus 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. You might have. Now, do you think this is increasing? Or it's the same? Because, and let me tell you why I ask this. Because of the magnification of social networks, and everyone on the street is a reporter like me. Actually, I'm not a reporter. I'm just a guy with an iPhone that loves to film what's going on in the city of Yonkers. So maybe things are getting a little bit magnified. Mm-hmm. Everything that happens, somebody's filming, somebody's broadcasting. Mm-hmm. So it creates an illusion, possibly an illusion that things are worse, mm-hmm. like the case of crime. Mm-hmm. I don't think crime is increasing. I think crime is decreasing. What's increasing is the exposure.
Certain levels of crime is increased, like I said, with the theft.
Okay, with the yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Drugs?
So with drugs, I don't have the answer to that. We don't have a health department in the city. I don't have access to that, but the county does. What I would say though, Rue, is I would love to go to the county to work with our DA's office, because I know that they have programs and initiatives to address the opioid problem. I know that they have state programs and initiatives that trickle down as well. And I think, like I said, we need to work with the partners that we have on all levels, but most importantly, I think we need to work in tandem with the city to address these things. I should not sit here as a city elected official and say that I don't know what the county has done in regards to drugs and opioids. I don't, because I haven't seen it from my county legislator, and that's an issue. We got to change that.
But you see, you are a Yonkers resident.
I have my eyes. I see what I see in the square. I personally say, from what I can see on the ground, that it looks like there has been an increase with the drug issue, but I don't know that for a fact. And I'm sure other people could probably agree with me and say it looks like it's increased as well, but I can't say that factually because I don't have that data.
What would be your very first priorities that you would hit once you elected? What would be the first thing that you needs your attention right away?
I think all of the issues that we've been talking about.
Well, the one has the most priority. My priority is to buy a Porsche, but I have others that.
It's hard to say because they're all interconnected and they're all equally important. Mental health, drug abuse, homelessness, that's all connected. Jobs, housing, public safety, that's all connected. All of those things has to be addressed simultaneously to improve the quality of life for the residents. So I will focus on all of them. I can't just nitpick and say I'm going to focus on this and not this because they're all interconnected.
They're all serious issues. They all need to be addressed.
Yeah.
Mental health.
Yeah.
Look, every day we turn around, there is a suicide here, there is a problem there. I actually spoke with a lady that lost her son at 230 Yonkers Avenue, and she had tears in her eyes when she was telling me that she tried to get help for her son. She was turned down, appointments not available. She kept asking. One day was one day too late. Do we need better resources, more resources, different resources to address those issues?
I think we have to. We have to get more resources. I think there's a lot of people who, not just in this city, but even on social media, you see people talk a lot about mental health and protecting your mental health and doing what you can. I even share a lot of stuff and talk a lot about it, but I practice leading a mentally healthy and stable life personally, and I think that we need more people to understand what that might look like, but we need the government to step in and address it, and it has to come from the county. The health department is there. We can do what we can on the city. I've worked with the mayor's health equity task force. We have a new equity officer that's focusing on the health piece as well as other things, and that's great. But at the end of the day, we need to see what other communities are doing surrounding this issue. We need to make sure that it's more than just a hotline that you can call, right? We need physical people. We need health insurance to change, and that's even bigger than the city and county. We need, the federal government to help address this as well as the state. But we need people on the ground. We need access to therapy. That is a huge problem. We need health insurance. We need all of these things for us to see a difference in that regard, and I just don't see it happening. But I think it has to start locally with the county department.
I agree. We need more than an 800 number.
Yeah.
Because by the time that I call that 800 number, something needed to be done already. So we need resources.
We have to find solutions, and I think just talking about it is not enough. We need to actually do a study. We need to see we need to do research and see what has happened in other parts of our country, right? And how they've handled it, if there's been any improvement there, and try to replicate whatever programs are working.
I agree. Now, Shanae, campaign started. It's going to be a crowded campaign at all levels, but we're here to talk about yours. People that might be watching, that might want to donate to your campaign, because we all know that campaigns are expensive. Okay?
Yes.
If they want to donate, if they want to participate, if they want to speak with you, do you have anything already set up, or?
Absolutely. So I did launch my campaign. That's how you heard about the news, right? I have a fundraiser coming up next Thursday, a week from today, the 26th, at Davino's in Hastings, and you can, reach out to me at ShanaeVWilliams@gmail.com, and I can, give you more information. My website, unfortunately, hasn't been launched yet. We'll be launching that February 1st, but you can look out for that. If you want, you can follow me on social media, message me. Shanae for Yonkers is my Instagram name, and I'm on Facebook. My name's Shanae V. Williams. So feel free to reach out through those channels if you want to get involved with the campaign. I am certainly going to need volunteers and people to donate. So anything you can do to help, I'll appreciate it.
So guys, if you want to help Shanae, if you want to go around collecting signatures or helping at different levels, reach out to her. Be involved, okay? Be involved. And don't forget, as I always say, we can be on social media, talk all day long. That is going to change. That is not going to change the outcome. The outcome is changed based on your vote. So regardless of whoever you're going to vote for, make sure you vote. Make sure you motivate your friends, your family to come out and vote. And if you feel like you want to support and help Shanae Williams, reach out to her. She's very reachable, at least to me. Okay? And
I'm accessible to everyone who needs me.
You are.
I am.
So guys, reach out, do what you can, do your part. Shanae, is there anything that maybe that you want to bring up that I forgot to mention, to ask?
There's probably a bunch of other topics we could talk about, Rue, but I think for the sake of time, I can always come back at a later time, next month or what have you, and we can have those conversations. But thank you for having me. Thank you all for listening. My office at City Hall is always available and open. If you want to reach out to me as your council person, I'm available. Shanae V.Williams@YonkersNY.gov is my email, and my phone number at City Hall is 914-377-6311.
Thank you guys for watching. Always, don't forget, if you want to support Yonkers Voice, as you guys know, everything needs money. If you want to donate some stars to Yonkers Voice, please do it. But that's not the only way to support Yonkers Voice. You can also support us by asking your friends, family members to join Yonkers Voice on Facebook, Instagram, and to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We appreciate your support. You've been supporting for all these years, so I thank you, each one of you, for doing that. Shanae, thank you for taking the time.
Thank you.
Okay, and you guys stay tuned. We have another great interview back to back right after we finish this one. Thank you until 5 minutes from now.